becomes really bad to hear.
No. We will do as we have done. We will wait. There's nothing else we can do.
About that. Oh, okay, so, just, insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting different results. Silly.
No, the true threat is yet to show itself. It is waiting for something, us perhaps, to enter the war. We have seen their soldiers, the remnants of their fleet, but those are symptoms of a disease. It is more bait to attempt to draw us out.
The actual battle is being fought through the Force, not with weapons of war. It isn't about the Republic anymore.
So
the attack on Onderon, something was attempting to use the planet itself, to feed on it, to draw on the power there. You prevented it, but it was a stalling measure. The next time will be critical.
Gee, thanks.
If Jedi gather, if we wage war against these shadows now, then Jedi will die. And we will die for nothing. Whatever this thing is, it must be fought by those strong in the Force. It cannot be fought in any other way. It knows this, and that is why it is killing us. If we die, then it will win, no matter what fleet or weapons are brought against it. I see you have failed to grasp the nature of the enemy we face. Where Jedi gather, Jedi die.
But not just Jedi. All things touched by the Force.
The last Jedi conclave was on KOTOR, a Miraluka colony, and all of KOTOR was destroyed. All of the Jedi killed.
Including Master Zar, Master Vandar.
A Jedi doesn't care if he dies.
Got a comment about this.
Everyone does. But when we fight, when we sacrifice ourselves, it is for others, for the greater good.
But our presence must not endanger others. And as long as we were visible targets, we were a threat to everything around us.
So if you remember, Vuk says, would Jedi gather, Jedi die, right? And so Kavar says Jedi doesn't matter. It doesn't care if he dies. If that's the case, then they're just kind of like defeating their own argument, or at least that's how I perceive it. The other thing is, if Jedi wrong thing. A Jedi doesn't matter, doesn't care if he dies. I always going to say matter, what it is. That's pretty nihilistic. Which is kind of weird, because one of the main bosses is named Nihilist, so... You can't, I don't know. Maybe you can draw a parallel there. I don't know. I'm not an English major, so...
You already know the answer. You've noticed it in those who travel with you.
Oh, and I know that I said I'll stop talking, but this is fair. I also love the music, although the weird, background frog sounds kind of weird.
You notice that when you act, others follow.
Those that travel with you.
There's something wrong here. A disturbance in the Force. Do not let them hurt him.
They follow you, without question, without hesitation.
Really?
Against their instincts, sometimes against their sense.
It is because you are a leader, but that still fails to grasp the meaning of what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, so they say without question, without hesitation, except whenever you kill an enemy, or kill an innocent, a civilian, or you gain dark side points, most of the characters are going to be like, hey, that's pretty shitty. But that's if you're like HK-47, or Atten, or whomever. So they don't follow you without hesitation. Or, they kind of do, but, it's in the RPG way.
Perhaps not, but it is not that to which I am referring. Surely you are familiar with force bonds. It is the bond that develops between apprentice and master when one truly understands another. It is developed over time through understanding of each other. Yet you do it so easily, and we do not know why.
You make connections through the Force, and it resonates with those who travel with you. The resonance is even greater when they, too, are Force-sensitive.
Holy shit,
resonance. Your actions affect others more than you know. You draw others to you,
SP3
especially those strong in the Force.
When you suffer, their spirit echoes it, and when they are in pain, their pain becomes yours. This bond, it travels both ways. When you feel pain or strong emotion, it resonates within you.
Oh.
And that is why the Mandalorian wars echo within you still.
That resonance Those damn SB3s.
We did not cut you off from the Force. You were merely deafened to it. Because of that last battle of the Mandalorian Wars.
The screams of countless thousands, Jedi and Mandalorians, crushed by the planet's gravity, annihilated.
Their lives still scream across the surface of that dead planet, and within you. To hear the Force over such pain, it is not possible. It was too much for any Jedi to endure, and it is a wonder that you did not die there when thousands perished. All those you had fought with and struggled with. You cut yourself off because you had to if you were to survive. You had hints of it in the war on Doxum. Malachor was simply the final blow.
You were deafened.
At last, you could hear.
You were broken.
You were whole.
You were blinded.
And at last, you saw.
When you returned to us, we saw what had happened. You carry all those deaths at Malachor within you. And it has left a hole, a hunger that cannot be filled.
In you, we saw a wound in the Force.
In you, we saw the end of the Force.
Yes, you can feel the Force, but you cannot feel yourself. You are a cipher, forming bonds, leeching the life of others, siphoning their will and dominating them. It is the teaching of these new Sith to feed on others, on other Force sensitives. They are symptomatic of the wound in the Force. You are a breach that must be closed. You transmit your pain, your suffering through the Force. Within you we see something worse than merely the teachings of the Sith. What you carry may mean the death of the Force and the death of the Jedi.
Remember, if you can't feel yourself, you should pinch yourself. And if you still can't feel yourself, you go to a doctor.
So you think. It is not the strength of a Jedi you feel.
He's right. It's all the death you've caused to get here. You feed on it, and you grow stronger. You're like Malachor. It's in you, it's what you are now. You must have noticed as you fought across all these planets, killing hundreds, only to become more and more powerful. Why do you think that was?
But what's worse is that bonding you have. It hasn't gone away. It's gotten stronger, and the more attachments you form, the more you draw others to you.
And that is why you are a threat to us all.
Wait, aren't single bonds more powerful than double or triple bonds? God, they don't know the chemistry.
What if other Jedi went to war as you did, suffered the same events, and emerged as you did? What if there was a crucible that trained such Jedi to consume and kill?
For you, Malachor was that crucible.
What's worse is these Sith that we face. I fear that they have learned the lesson of Malachor all too well. It is what allows them to prey on Force users, to become stronger when Force sensitives are near.
Somehow they have learned their hunger from you. And so you have brought about the end of the Jedi.
Two things from this.
And perhaps all the knowledge of the Force. But it is of no consequence. Your ability to make such connections, such bonds so easily are why you cannot remain.
First, if you got a crucible, heat that shit so that all the shit inside the crucible goes away. Second off, how the fuck did they learn it from me?
And
Doesn't make
so
sense.
you wait.
I was in exile.
Yes, we are alike
What
that
the
way,
fuck?
blinded one. I would have thought you would walk with him amongst the Jedi. But that is not the way of the Sith, is it? Do not speak to me
savage.
of the Sith. You, of all of us, have no conception of what it means to be Sith.
You are a threat to living creatures and all who feel the Force.
You will lead the Sith here, and that we cannot allow.
Our judgment
Nice
before
earrings,
remains.
those KO.
Exile. You must leave.
Those are cool.
And you must leave without your tie to the Force. It is a punishment reserved for only a few, and only when necessary. But we have the power to cut you off
I
from the
want those.
Force, and it must be done.
Forgive us, but it is necessary.
Or I can just take this mask.
This must be done. As long as you feel the Force, you are a danger to those around you.
Okay, Grey is fucking amazing in this scene.
Enough! Step away from him.
What?
Step away! He has brought truth and you condemn it? The arrogance! You will not harm him. You will not harm him ever again.
Okay, I've just
thought you had
turned
died
down
in
the sound.
Mandalorian Wars.
Die? No. Became stronger. Yes.
Is this your new master, Exile? If so, then you follow Revan's path. Her teachings will cause you to fall as surely as he did.
She is difficult to see.
Revan saved the Republic and destroyed the Star Forge. Not a bad path.
Now they have come to us.
How could you ever hope to know the threat you face when you have never walked in the dark places of the galaxy, faced war and death on such a scale? If you had traveled far enough, rather than waiting for the echo to reach you, perhaps you would have seen it for what it was. Did you not hear its call on Dantooine Vrook, on its scarred surface, and in the minds of the settlers? I have endured your corruption of my other students. You shall not have this one. And you, Kavar, so close to the call of Daxan, tell me, did you not feel what poured from the moon, what had taken place there? And says Kael, to hide upon Nar Shaddaa, yet blind yourself to all that happens there. So close to understanding the Force. So close to giving it up. There is a place in the galaxy where the dark side of the Force runs strong. It is something of the Sith, but it was fueled by war. It corrupts all that walks on its surface, drowns them in the power of the dark side. It corrupts all life, and it feeds on death. Revan knew the power of such places, and the power in making them. They can be used to break the will of others, of Jedi, promising them power and turning them to the dark side. Did you never wonder how Revan corrupted so many of the Jedi, so much of the Republic, so quickly?
I love
The
Jedi.
Mandalorian Wars were a series of massacres that masked another war, a war of conversion, culminating in a final atrocity that no Jedi could walk away
She
from.
was literally
Save
This is the moment
one.
I'm talking about.
And that is what I sought to understand. How one could turn away from such power, give up the Force, and still live. But I see what happened now. It is because you had no choice. As you would pass judgment on him, I have come to pass judgment on you. Do you wish to feel the teachings born of the Mandalorian Wars? Of all tragedies that scream across the galaxy, let me show you. You, who have forever seen the galaxy through the Force. See it through the eyes of the exile.
Okay, so the change was, instead of saying because you were afraid, she says because you had no choice. And so most people who play this game will either play light side, male or female, save the
I am
Jedi.
one of the Sith, it is true. Soon your ship won't.
Okay, y'all can watch that later. So it's either they play light side, male or female, and you get they play. Sorry, I'm gonna repeat this yet again. They play light side, male or female, and they get because you had no choice. Sorry, no. Let me fix this. They play light side, male or female, and they get the line because you were afraid. If you're dark side, in some manner of speaking, you kill all three of these Jedi. In some manner, right? Either you do it on their specific planets, or you do it here. And so basically, the whole scene, the whole scene shifts, where Kreia says, "You have failed me," blah 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 blah. So in this scene,